How have you been intentionally preparing your heart for Jesus this Advent? We're about halfway through Advent at this point, and I don't know about you, but someone like me, I sometimes forget what Advent is all about. I get caught up in the hustle and bustle, in the preparations, in the gift making, and all of these things, and I miss this season, which is all about preparing our hearts for Christmas. So that when Christmas Day actually gets here, suddenly I'm kind of lost. Like, man, did I even really prepare my heart? Did I take time to clear some of the clutter, clear some of the sin out of my life, and make room for Jesus? Now, growing up, I had 6 younger siblings, and my parents did an amazing job of teaching us that Advent was a time to prepare for Jesus. And this is how they did it. We did something in our house called making a bed for Jesus. And this is what we would do. My parents would set up this manger, this wooden feeding trough for animals, which is where Jesus was laid into once he was born. And they would tell us that any time that me or my siblings did something kind for each other, so for instance, if we woke up early in the morning to make our beds for our parents without being asked, or if even we went out and made everyone else's bed so that they didn't have to do it in the morning, or if we volunteered to do dishes, or any of those kinds of things, then we could put in one piece of straw in the manger. And the idea is that as Advent went on, that pile of hay, that pile of straw, would get bigger and bigger for Jesus to sleep in. And so as Advent went along, me and my siblings would try to outdo each other in making room for Jesus. We would say extra prayers so that we could put in more straw. We would, not yell at each other if we were angry. We would bite our tongues so that we could go and put in a piece of straw. And with all of these little acts of charity, we were making room for Jesus. Well, then on Christmas Day, the big day, when we welcomed the baby Jesus into our lives, we would take a baby doll of Jesus and would place him in the manger on top of that little mound of straw that represented all of our prayers, all of our acts of service, all of our little striving for virtue that we had been preparing for. And it was this beautiful time to really see in a concrete way how much room we had made in our heart for Jesus. Now, how about you? What's some concrete way that you can remind yourself to enter into this Advent season? Maybe if you have kids, if you have a family of your own, you can set up your own manger and institute this tradition of building a bed for Jesus. Or you can maybe journal something down so that you can see all the little ways you've been preparing for Jesus. Something physical, something visible, so that if you're like me and you get easily forgetful, you can be reminded to be making room for Jesus in an intentional way this Advent, entering into this beautiful season that the church gives us as a time for extra penance, extra almsgiving, and repentance in order to make room for our newborn Messiah born at Bethlehem on Christmas Day.